It's a wild week of winter weather across central and eastern Kentucky, from bitter cold to the possibility of a winter storm. Details are just ahead.
The cold didn't stop some people from working outside today. We'll show you what they did to protect themselves from the elements.
How a unique program in one community is offering drug addicts an opportunity to rebuild their lives.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening to you. It is a dangerously cold night across the Bluegrass, and a WKYT First Alert severe weather day continues.
Temperatures are expected to fall into the single digits again tonight, with wind chills even colder than that. More wintry weather is to follow. We begin tonight with our chief meteorologist, Chris Bailey.
Yeah, guys, this morning the wind chills were as low as -10 across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. We may be in the ballpark again for those numbers tomorrow morning. Don't think we quite will be as cold as what we had this morning. And then it's game on for snow chances after that. Current temperatures, we're going to continue to drop very quickly. We'll see single digits coming up over the next few hours. 14 Lexington and Richmond, 11 already into northern Kentucky. Throw the winds into the mix and we look at the hour-by-hour forecast for the wind chills. Should drop below zero as we go into the latter part of the evening, and then look at the numbers, watch your timeline through first thing tomorrow morning. Could be -5 to -10 on occasion. Right now it feels like it is 3 degrees into Lexington and Richmond, 0 Covington, Monticello down in Wayne County with a wind chill of 1. Over the next hour, we'll see some negative numbers begin to show up across the entire area. After we get rid of the truly bitter cold tomorrow, then we focus on a snowmaker that is coming out of the Rockies. That'll arrive in the Bluegrass State on Wednesday with the possibility of a moderate snowfall for some areas. Headlines, it's busy. Another bitterly cold night, snow by Wednesday, and then the possibility of an out-and-out winter storm for parts of central and eastern Kentucky Friday into Saturday. A new hour-by-hour forecast, guys, and is coming your way in just a few minutes. And we will also have that first call for snowfall for the first system that blows into town on Wednesday. That's in a shade under 15 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. And now to tragic breaking news we're tracking out of Laurel County tonight. Investigators think the cold weather led to an elderly woman's death after she walked out of an assisted living facility in London.
The Laurel County coroner says the 95-year-old woman was found dead not far from Laurel Village on North Mill Street. Phil Pendleton has the breaking details.
We are told that the woman who died is 95-year-old Dorothy McKnight, and she was found after she apparently fell off a porch of a resident away from the assisted living community. Now, she was found about 9 o'clock this morning, but it's not known how long she was outside. I am told she was found outside the residence about 100 yards from the Laurel Village Retirement and Assisted Living Community. Coroner Doug Bowling says she died of exposure. London police are investigating. They say they believe she got out of the building, which is not restricted, and walked down to the road where she was found. Again, the Laurel County Coroner's Office is saying that the cause of death, at least at this point, is exposure. We are also told that she was not dressed for the weather. In Laurel County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Phil, thank you. And as you said, it is tragic and a reminder of just how cold and how quick things like that can happen.
Really, really sad.
Yeah, well, being outside for just a few minutes, it can be risky when the air is this cold.
But as Kristen Kennedy found out, people who work outside take extra precautions to protect themselves. She continues our First Alert Weather Team coverage from Lexington.
Anyone who spent any amount of time outside Monday wore extra layers. Temperatures were enough to freeze even the most experienced all-weather workers.
We've got drywall work going on. Tile guys are inside, electricians. We have ceiling tile going in.
Darren Deshawn with Beck's Construction kept his crew inside and set up several portable heaters.
The weather being as cold as it is outside, you can't get a lot done because the guys having to come in periodically and warm up.
With temperatures like these, just a few minutes out in the cold can be dangerous. That's why Meals on Wheels drivers are told around this time of year, bundle up.
I have a lot of older drivers that come and volunteer at this time right now, so we're going to make sure they're wrapped up pretty warm. You know, they're able to get out there and make the meals and take them to the clients for us.
Lori McCann with Meals on Wheels out of Trinity Hill United Methodist Church needs drivers during cold weather months. She says their list of homebound clients is growing and checking on them right now is critical.
It's very, very important that my drivers are able to show up and deliver these meals because they depend on them all throughout the week.
In Lexington, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
And more people in the community are stepping up to help those who don't have a home. Some women have left scarves for the homeless in Lexington's Phoenix Park. They say anyone who needs one can take one. Doctors at UK hospitals say programs like this can save lives because it's important to cover as much of your body as possible if you're outside.
If you have any exposed skin that's not covered by a hat or a scarf or gloves, you're not only going to be at risk for hypothermia, but you can get frostbite and you can even get frozen to the point that you lose fingers or toes.
And when we last checked, doctors said that they had not seen any patients in the UK hospital emergency room for weather-related illnesses. Volunteers with the Catholic Action Center's Compassion Caravan will hit the streets of Lexington again tonight, offering to take the city's homeless to a shelter. Last night, the caravan picked up nearly 80 people around the city. If you know of someone who needs a warm place to stay, we have a phone number on WKYT.com. And to stay on top of the winter weather situation and traffic with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app, you can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Organizers of a parade to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Richmond tonight canceled it because of the cold. The Freedom March would have started at 5. Organizers say they may reschedule it for sometime during February, which is Black History Month. A service to honor Dr. King did go on as scheduled, though, tonight at First Baptist Church on Francis Street.
There are lots of faithful people who would be willing to march in this weather. We've done it, perhaps it wasn't this cold, but almost. And knowing that there are faithful people, I decided that we would not ask them to march today because the wind chill factor, I understand, will be in the single digits.
Well, despite the cold weather, more than 2,000 people marched in the streets of downtown Lexington this morning to honor Dr. King. Following the march, actor Danny Glover spoke at a commemorative program at Heritage Hall. Our Sean Moody has more on Glover's message.
Miss Kentucky Clark Janelle Davis set the tone early. And then the crowd was ready to hear from actor and activist Danny Glover. He quoted a speech from Dr. Martin Luther King.
I am speaking of that force which all the great religions have seen as the supreme unifying principle of life.
And he sat down for a discussion about the issues facing the African American community as well as the entire world.
One, you have it right here, the issue around equity, inequality around in the country, the issue around the mass incarceration.
Glover imagined what Dr. King might have to say about current events.
Dr. King was here today with us. He would be out there talking about mass incarceration. He'd be out here talking about climate change and global warming. He'd be talking about every main issue. He'd be out there with these young people.
The people who came out to see him today said it was something they'd carry with them forever.
Probably just that he changed my life, that he definitely helped me impact my community, and that hopefully one day he'll see me and see me acting, doing philanthropy and seeing me influencing my community in whatever way I can.
In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Danny Glover also serves as a UNICEF ambassador.
Kentucky's drug epidemic has put more emphasis on drug treatment centers across the state as leaders are working to figure out the best practices for each center. Leaders of the Isaiah House in Washington County say their approach to sobriety is one of a kind, in part because they'll put patients to work. WKYT's Miranda Combs explains new at 6.
And if there's any cuts or scrapes or smudges on it, it's got to go. Scrap.
This room is work.
So basically all we do is, after we cut them, we'll just take them and pull them apart. Pretty simple.
Each of these headrests are imperfect, and men like Johnny Hackworth are paid to break them down so they can be put together again.
And just polish them up real good and get all the smudges off of it.
A fresh start. The same thing Hackworth needed 11 months ago.
It's the hardest thing I ever done in my life. At 40 years old, honestly, it's the hardest thing I ever done in my life. But it's been worth every minute.
By now, it's probably clear this isn't an auto plant.
It just kind of gives you a sense of hope, just being up here, knowing that you can work and not have to worry about the stresses of getting high in general.
At Isaiah House, Hackworth works every day, gets paid, so when he leaves the security of these walls, he's got money.
And our typical client will leave here with $3,000 to $4,000 in their pocket.
Which is unusual.
It's extremely unusual. Yeah. There's no other treatment program that I'm aware that does that.
But this man will tell you what's offered here is more valuable than cash.
Come on this way.
There is room for just 88 men here.
We have about a 3-month waiting list. Yeah.
How hard is that, from your perspective, to make people wait?
Yeah, we've had people die on the waiting list. Yeah, and it's, I tear up on it. I mean, it's just horrible. It shouldn't be that way. This is a typical dorm.
Mark LaPalme took us on a tour of his invention, a religious community to rehabilitate addicts. We saw where they sleep.
Being yourself is the best way to ever fit in.
Where they study.
I can be sober and be happy.
Where they work and how they bond.
As addicts, we're lonely, and it takes coming to recovery that realize that how lonely we were.
Tearing down and building back up is LaPalme's philosophy, but treatment drugs are not.
There is no easy answer. There's not an easy fix. There's no pill that you can throw at it. And so we've got to just really dig in there with them and help them with each and every little piece of life that got destroyed by their addiction.
It's not just about getting sober here. It's about getting your head on straight.
And realizing that starting over is possible when you examine all the pieces and put it back together again.
It all ties in together. God brings everything together here for you if you just pay attention.
In Willisburg, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Pretty impressive. Isaiah House leaders say they have a 67% success rate for patients who complete the program.
Police call it a nuisance in one central Kentucky city, how they say vandals are damaging cars in 7 minutes.
Arctic air continues to be in place across the area. That's the short-term focus. The longer-term focus is on snow and the possibility of a winter storm. We'll break down a busy forecast in a moment.
When winter is at its worst, that's when WKYT calls a First Alert Severe Weather Day. Continuous coverage on air, on WKYT.com, and wherever you are with our news and weather apps. First Alert Severe Weather Days, only on WKYT.
It's not too late to buy. Ashley Home Store Secret Sale has been extended. Time is running out to get huge savings or no interest until 2021. Don't miss our extended hours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. Absolutely and Sunday at Ashley Home Store.
There's just something special that makes Simple Truth and Simple Truth Organic a natural part of every family. Great food is something all generations can enjoy together. And you'll find hundreds of smart choices, even brand new products for baby and your home. Just look for the Simple Truth green circle on the label. Simple Truth, putting simple within reach.
Right now, save up to $40 with digital coupons at simpletruth.com. Toyota's Anytime Anywhere event is going on anytime, anywhere you are at buyatoyota.com. And now you can get 0% financing on many of your favorite new Toyotas and get 2-year no-cost maintenance included. Save even more on a 2015 Prius liftback with $2,000 cash back, plus another $3,000 in fuel savings. So visit here and then come in here for your new Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Did your family set a goal to become healthier in the new year? One family did and lost 300 pounds at Ageless. Bruce lost 92 pounds, Adam lost 64 pounds, and Catherine lost 151 pounds. For a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution, call Ageless today for a free consultation.
Oh, man, these wings look good. Yeah, this spicy honey barbecue sauce is so good, it'll change your life.
Sir, it looks like we're leading in the polls.
You're running for president?
Don't answer that.
Life-changing? Maybe. Indescribably good? Definitely. The boneless wings meal with spicy honey barbecue sauce, served with crinkle fries and a small drink. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Filters in cigarette butts are not biodegradable like an apple core. They can take up to 25 years to decompose. Please don't trash the bluegrass.
I'm on a fixed income. Credit cards help me balance the money that's coming in and what I need to live on. I've thought about bankruptcy, but how am I supposed to pay for it?
Sometimes the people that need help the most are the very people who can least afford it.
We've come up with a way to get you started for less.
Say no to debt. Start your bankruptcy for only $78 now. The consultation is free. In Lexington and now in London.
It's not too late to buy. Ashley Home Store Secret Sale has been extended. Time is running out to get huge savings or no interest until 2021. Don't miss our extended hours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. Absolutely and Sunday at Ashley Home Store.
It's a WKYT First Alert severe weather day as we track bitterly cold air again across the Bluegrass State. Not only this evening, but it's going to drop big time over the next hour or two, and then tomorrow morning we're going to be back into the 0 to 5 above range. Currently 0 to our northwest, 4 Chicago, 14 now into Lexington, and all those numbers are going to continue to drop very, very quickly as the sun is now set. We have dry air that is in place. That's a good recipe to get the numbers to tank in a hurry. 11 into Covington. We'll see single digits on this showing up by the time you join us tonight at 11 o'clock. Current wind chills 1 into Monticello. 1 is a lonely number into Wayne County. 0 into Covington. Feels like it's 3 degrees into Lexington and Richmond. Mainly clear skies out there. That's another ingredient to allow those temperatures to drop. But as we are clear across Kentucky, look at the clouds now. Really dominating the overall pattern west of the Mississippi River. That's how you know you're dealing with a pretty potent jet stream. One disturbance across the Rockies will roll across southern Kentucky as we go into your Wednesday. That's our first little snowmaker that we are going to watch during that time. The numbers, well, they decided to drop off this particular map. Nonetheless, we can show you the precipitation on this as we roll ahead. We go through 4 o'clock Tuesday, and as we go into Wednesday, here's the band of some snow developing and working in right around morning commute time into parts of central Kentucky. Heaviest of this is going to focus across the southern tier of the region, so 64 in south. You're in line for a couple, 3, 4 inches potentially across southern Kentucky. Farther north that we get, the lighter the amounts, and that will scoot in here and out of here very quickly as we go into Wednesday afternoon and evening. One of the computer models we look at has lighter amounts northeast, heavier amounts across the south and southwest. Another computer model that we look at, lighter amounts in the north and northeast, heavier amounts the farther south and southwest that we go. Sensing a theme here? That's my theme as well. Those are computer models. Here's the forecast on the first call for snowfall with a general inch or two for the areas in the white. Though you get northeast of Moorhead, north of a line from Moorhead to Cynthiana and arcing down toward the Pikeville area, you're maybe lucky to get an inch of snow out of this. Farther south, now we'll ramp those totals up. Someone may pick up 2, 3, or 4 inches of snow from system number 1 that arrives on Wednesday. Then we watch our winter storm threat Friday into Saturday. As a matter of fact, this may start Thursday night. Mix of some snow, sleet, freezing rain, and rain should transition to snow if the current setup remains as is forecast by the computer models. Gusty winds during that time as well. Now on Saturday, that storm is going to move up the east coast of the United States. Could leave behind several inches of snow. Could is the word as of now. Got to get a little closer before confidence really begins to increase. Here's the storm system. Confidence is pretty high from 3 days out. I can tell you that right now. We go into Friday. That storm system then works across the Smoky Mountains, transfers energy to a bigger storm across the Carolinas. Wind behind that wraps up and works its way up the eastern seaboard. Now, does that leave a little snow where you live or a lot of snow where you live? Just hang in there and we will answer that one over the next couple of days. At least you're in the game for a winter storm Thursday night, Friday, and into Saturday. That's if you want to be in the game. That's a game some folks don't want to play. Wednesday is potentially the appetizer of the light snowfall for many of us across the region.
It sounds like a full court press using basketball lingo with winter coming at us.
It really is. Old man winter, non-existent for the majority of November and December, and right on cue showing up here in the middle of January.
I'm one of those that don't want to play the game. So
yeah, you know, you're just going to sit the bench?
Out, yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, guys.
New tonight, Winchester police need your help tracking down the people responsible for vandalizing cars around the city.
Police say in the last month and a half they've received about 10 reports of car windows being shot out with a pellet gun. No one has been injured. So far, police do not have any suspects.
It's a nuisance, and at this time of the year it causes a big inconvenience
for the owners of these vehicles, you know, when we're talking about sub-freezing temperatures.
Winchester police are offering a reward for information that leads to arrests in this case.
Now to sports, Brian. The state of Kentucky could be well represented at the Olympics later this year.
Yeah, household names who follow UK and Morehead State are finalists to wear USA on their jerseys. And John Calipari not pleased with his team during what he calls winning time. Sports is next.
WKYT First Alert Weather is brought to you by Lexington Athletic Club.
98.1 The Bull and Hardee's presents the Red, White, and Boom Music Festival 2016.
Starring Jason Aldean,
Eric Church,
Florida Georgia Line,
Thomas Rhett,
Cole Swindell,
Casey Musgraves,
and many more.
Powered by the Lexington Clinic. Labor Day weekend, September 2nd through the 4th at the Whitaker Bank Ballpark, Lexington.
Tickets on sale now at
redwhiteandboom.com.
If you step into my classroom and you're looking for learning, you're going to see it in a variety of ways.
You can feel the energy that's in the classroom. Look at the students. They're engaged, they're excited, they're motivated. You can see that.
They know their teacher cares about them, their teacher knows them, and their teacher is willing to do everything it takes to make sure that they are able to succeed.
All students are taking part, and all students will have an understanding of what's going on.
Because that's what learning looks like.
No matter what time it is or wherever you are, your Toyota dealers are always open at buyatoyota.com. Now, during Toyota's Anytime Anywhere event, you can lease this stylish new 2016 Toyota Corolla for just $159 a month. Or let the adventures begin with the new restyled 2016 RAV4 and get 0% financing. So visit here and then come in here for the new Toyota you've always wanted. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, we did it. We did it. We won. Our number is one! Carla, let me see that ticket.
Oh, it was Kathy's turn to buy the ticket. I had to work a double. Bill said he'd get them.
I had bowling. Late night. Yeah. So Daryl said he'd get them.
Didn't get my text?
Pickle the chickens?
No. Pick up the tick.
The only way you can win Kentucky's Powerball or Mega Millions jackpot is if you actually buy your ticket.
Mamma Mia, Broadway's smash hit musical featuring 22 of ABBA's greatest hits. Mamma Mia, you already know you're gonna love it.
February 4th through 7th at the Lexington Opera House.
At Baptist Health, we want you to know the facts. Visit BaptistHealthTalks.com to view a video of cardiologist Michael Rukavina on a new leadless pacemaker technology. Baptist Health Lexington. Be a healthier you.
Lease a sensational all-new 2016 Volvo XC90 for only $499 per month at Quantrell Volvo.
As the Cats get ready for the Arkansas Razorbacks this Thursday in Fayetteville, John Calipari says he's not panicked in any way, but lately the Cats have been losing big leads. Against Mississippi State, the Bulldogs whittled away a 20-point lead before UK held on to win. And then Saturday, Auburn battled back from a 12-point second-half deficit to win 75-70. UK has not owned what Cal calls winning time.
Winning time for us. We're up 20 against Mississippi State. We're up 12 against Auburn. We lose one, we should have lost the other. Think about that. And historically, my teams, if you get up 10, it's death for the other team. That's not the case right now. And most of it is young guys not understanding winning basketball at that crunch time, that juncture of the game. But that's what we got to work on, and that's why it's a process. And the only way you get through it is experience. But veterans will help you win games as you're learning and growing that way.
Kentucky still in the AP Top 25, but falls all the way to number 23. Oklahoma, the unanimous number 1 team for the first time since 1990. North Carolina is second. West Virginia with a huge jump to 6th. Texas A&M at 10. South Carolina at 24, the only other teams in the top 25. 4 NBA players with Kentucky ties could be wearing USA across their chest at the Summer Olympics in Rio next August. Former Wildcats Anthony Davis, John Wall, and DeMarcus Cousins, along with former Morehead State Eagle Kenneth Faried, are among 30 finalists to make that team. The official 12-man roster will be announced later this year. All 4 players have prior USA basketball experience. The annual Bluegrass Sports Commission Awards dinner is Tuesday, January 26th. It's the night the Lexington Herald Leader will present the winner of the Sportsman of the Year award. Tonight we continue with the countdown and another top 10 finalist.
Former Kentucky big man Karl Anthony Towns led the Wildcats to a 38-1 season and was named SEC Freshman of the Year and SEC Newcomer of the Year. Towns was selected first-team All-Conference and second-team All-American. Towns parlayed his play with the Cats into a selection as the first pick in the NBA draft by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
We'll have another finalist tomorrow. On Sunday night, 4 of the 5 members of John Calipari's 2016 recruiting class were named McDonald's All-Americans. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Sasha Kalia-Jones, and Bam Adebayo. This evening, Adebayo and his High Point Christian squad playing at the Hoop Hall Classic, and Bam is a monster around the rim, the double-double machine in points and rebounds. Last night, Adebayo and Malik Monk were on the McDonald's All-American selection show and were asked if there is more pressure being named a McDonald's All-American or playing at Kentucky.
I think it's both, because McDonald's All-American, you only get chosen by certain people, so you got to show up there, and then Kentucky, because Cal don't recruit everybody, so you got to show up.
The expectation of playing in Kentucky, because a bunch of greats came through there, and they want us to do what the greats done before, and we're just trying to play basketball and be together and have fun.
That is a look at sports. Sam and Amber, back to you.
Thank you, Brian. And a final check of your First Alert weather forecast is next.
And then on the CBS Evening News, the latest on water contamination in one Michigan city. Will ongoing efforts to fix the problem be enough?
Hardee's presents the Red, White, and Boom Music Festival 2016.
Jason Aldean, Florida Georgia Line, Thomas Ross, Cole Swindell, Casey Musgraves.
RedWhiteandBoom.com.
There's just something special that makes Simple Truth and Simple Truth Organic a natural part of every family. Great food is something all generations can enjoy together. And you'll find hundreds of smart choices, even brand new products for baby and your home. Just look for the Simple Truth green circle on the label. Simple Truth, putting simple within reach.
Right now, save up to $40 with digital coupons at simpletruth.com.
Are you planting a tree? Are you digging a garden? Are you digging a swimming pool? Are you putting up a mailbox? Always call 811 before you dig. It's not just a good idea, it's the law. Columbia Gas of Kentucky.
You heard it was a hit. You heard it was a smash. A wonder. A phenomenon. An international sensation. But you haven't heard them.
Home. Home is about comfort, and that is exactly what we create. When you partner with us, you team with experts, not only in the latest technologies, but uniquely skilled in turning know-how into wow. A home that starts when you are ready and lets you know what's happening. A home that works for you. Not just any home, your home. Get your free in-home consultation today. Bluegrass Home Entertainment. Are you ready to be wowed?
The candidate from Cartown Kia can give people $8,000 off new Kia Optimas. What can you offer?
Well, we have
yesterday's coffee.
There's no debate. Get $8,000 off MSRP on all select new 2015 Kia Optimas in stock at Cartown Kia. Take home a new 2016 Kia Sorrento SUV for only $189 per month. And if you have a job bringing home $350 per week, we want to approve your credit.
We can do we don't do credit.
Don't debate it. Get to Cartown Kia.
Yeah, I can't believe this DQ $5 lunch comes with fries, drink, and a sundae.
Can't believe it now comes with this KC barbecue burger.
I can't believe Randy's barbecuing.
Oh! It's barbecue season at DQ with the new KC Barbecue Bacon Cheeseburger $5 lunch. You need a breakfast built for work days, not weekdays. The chicken and gravy breakfast burrito from your DQ. A chicken strip plus eggs, cheese, and pepper gravy in a warm flour tortilla. Served with crispy hash browns and coffee. Just one of our delicious $3 breakfasts. Only at your DQ.
Look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and say, oh, 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 oh.
All right, you are going to be one busy fellow this week.
It's going to be a busy week. It's Arctic cold tonight with temperatures dropping 0 to 5 above. A light snowmaker on Wednesday could put down an inch or two in some areas. Other areas, southern Kentucky, looking in your direction, 3 or 4 inches possible there. Then it's all eyes on a possible winter storm Friday into Saturday.
And some repercussions from the Auburn UK basketball game.
Yeah, Auburn fined $100,000 for storming the court in that game against Kentucky. Cal in a good move, getting his players off the floor before all that happened.
All right, thanks for being here. We'll see you at 11.